A wiki up, so I want you to get the term correct because that's going to be my new napping area. If you guys want to come find me, check in the wiki up because it's very comfy and very nice. But we're here with Barbara. She's the executive director for the Quincy Museum. And Barbara, can you give us a little background on this really cool exhibit? It's very interactive. It's very kid-friendly, so it means you can touch a lot of this stuff, which is very cool.
Well, that's sort of the idea. We've always had a Native American room because, as you may know, we started life as a Native American museum. So our collections are very, very strong in Native American materials, but it's kind of hard to present that stuff to kids because they really can't touch those ancient pieces of pottery and a lot of those kind of sharp arrowheads and stuff. And so we decided, with the help of the CFM Foundation, to build a children's floor, do a little bit more interactive stuff for kids. And this is the latest part of it. This is our revamped Native American room. And just about everything in here is for the kids to touch and feel and experience and play.
So if a kid was going to come in here, what are some of the things that they might be able to see?
Well, there's the obvious. There's our wiki up.
My personal favorite.
Sure. Which inside there's a fire so they can cook. We have fish and we have jerky that they can dry over the fire, and there's gourds and baskets. There's a Native American baby doll in there that they can dress. There's a papoose on a cradle board that they can carry around. Native American clothing that they can try on so they can kind of play as if they are Native Americans.
It really sounds like the history is very hands-on, and what's nice is it kind of makes it very fun, which a lot of people say, oh, history might be something that you can read. Well, here in the Native American exhibit, it's very interactive, and you get to hold and touch everything, which is awesome. So if you're interested in learning more, stay tuned because we're going to be having even more fun playing with some of the very neat artifacts and playing with some of the neat exhibit items here at the Quincy Museum.
Well, Megan Townley joins us live in Quincy this morning. Now, she's at the Quincy Museum. She's having a lot of fun, but she's also showing us a lot of activities and a lot of things you can see there. Good morning, Megan.
Hey, Wolf. Yeah, Squirrel. I like history. Well, you're in luck. We're at the Quincy Museum. Oh, fun. Let's talk more about it next time. Okay. You're watching KHQA This Morning. Right now, but I am doing a little bit of dress up and I've got a fish in my hand, so what could be better than that? Especially at 5 in the morning. Fish in the hand. Isn't that a quote or something? Fish in the hand, you're good for a year. Something like that. Anyway, so Barbara, what do we have over here? We have some neat little costumes and it's very interactive for kids. That's something that they can do and play with, and it's very hands-on. It
is. We have a variety of Native American costumes that the kids can try on. Here's a little costume for a boy with the shirt and the little pants. And of course, you've got one on for a little bit of a bigger kid.
I am a big kid, let's be honest.
But we encourage the kids to come and kind of immerse themselves in the experience here. So they can put on Native American clothing, they can play with our musical instruments. We have jingle bells that they can tie around their ankles, and they can play our drums. If you can hear in the background, we've got Native American music. I think Carlos Nakai is playing right now, but we also have music from a powwow. And so the kids actually come up here, they put on the costumes, they dance around, they have a really good time.
Well, and it's also very cool because not only can they dress the part, but they can also kind of live the part in one of my favorite areas. It's the wiki up. And so, is this something that maybe a Native American might have just lived in, maybe hung out in, or?
Wiki ups were used by Native Americans throughout the United States. They're sort of a brush house, depending on where the Native Americans lived, depended on the materials that they used.
Sure.
But they would live in them throughout the summers a lot of times, and larger ones in the winter where several families would live together.
And so not only can you dress the part here at the Quincy Museum, but you can also explore, and you can be very hands-on, very interactive for kids, small and maybe big kids like yourself, or maybe myself. You can come here and check out just about everything, some artifacts that might have been found in your very own backyard. We'll find out more coming up about more artifacts here at the Native American exhibit. Well, we're talking about some history in Quincy, and like I said earlier, you might have heard of Indian Mounds Park, or you might have gone swimming at Indian Mounds, but Barbara, can you give us some history of why it's called Indian Mounds?
Sure. Very simply, it's called Indian Mounds Park because of the Indian mounds that are actually found there. And the Indian mounds that are on Indian Mounds Park were built during the woodland time period. And as you can see here, they're very beautiful, especially this time of year when the grass starts to green up and you can start seeing how lovely they were. They provided a great view over the bluffs and across to the landscape on the other side. You can kind of see here, this is an artist's depiction of building the mounds, and you can see across the river, you can see the bottoms down here in the river, and they had a great view. A lot of the Native American mounds that were found in Indian Mounds Park were burial mounds. And in the early 1960s, the Park District gave permission for Dr. Reed to excavate one of the mounds. Well, they built a building over the top of it, and they displayed the Indian relics and remains there in the building. And that became the first home of what's now the Quincy Museum. It was called the Arrow Key Indian Museum, and it was established on Indian Mounds Park. And I think right down here is a picture of our original building, which is still in Indian Mounds Park.
Well, very good. It seems like you can actually walk through Indian mounds and you can see some of the very relevant and very neat kind of artifacts and some of the part of, I guess, Quincy's history, because long before we came, there were Native Americans here living here also.
Absolutely. If you look up here, there's a walking timeline, so that as you go through the park down the road, you can actually follow the timeline of Native American occupation in Illinois, and especially right here around Quincy.
Great. Well, not only are you getting some interactive history here at the Quincy Museum, but you can also see some history of the museum, and as well as some Quincy history that's very interactive, and it's very easy to take in. When we come back, we're going to be showing you some more interactive stuff. We're going to get some animals involved, actually, so even more fun with me. And we're also going to show you some interactive stuff that your children can enjoy as well. Quincy Museum. What are some of the things, if people want to bring their kids, or maybe for the kids at heart, like me, what are some of the things that they can see here?
Well, in addition to our Native American room, of course, we have our restored first floor, which is a high-style Victorian, and we give guided tours of that. Our second floor has, let's see,
There's so much.
local history, our new exhibit, which is Beauty in Nature, which is a really beautiful natural history exhibit. And up here, of course, we not only have Native Americans, but we've got dinosaurs and Mississippi wildlife. And then we also have special events. We have a mother-daughter make-it-yourself spa event coming up on Saturday, May 10th. We're going to do a father-son event out on the lawn on June 14th. We've got classes for kids all summer long. There's always something going on here. So come on down and see us, or check out our website.
Which at the mother spa day that you can bring daughter or child with, that's really nice because that's right around Mother's Day, so that could be something that you could be very interactive with. And not only could you check out that, but you could also check out this room, and it's very interactive for kids because most of the things in here you can touch and you can put your hands on, so perfect for kids. What else can people see here? I mean, we've got some really neat artifacts, but we've also got some history from right here in our own backyard.
Absolutely. Some of the artifacts in our cases, in particular the archaic, the woodland, and of course some of the Mississippian, those are all local artifacts. They came from Quincy, Adams County, and some from Pike County, but a lot of these are actually things that were found here in the community.
Right, and so if you're wanting to look at some local history dating back very, very, very far back in history, some 12,000 years ago from present date, very far back in history, if that's maybe your thing, maybe you're a history buff, or maybe you just want to learn more about maybe where some Native Americans settled right here in the area, be perfect for you. Bring along your kid, or bring along maybe someone who's a kid at heart, like myself. It's a very fun area, and you're sure to have a good time. Morning, as you can see, I'm having a lot of fun. This is Mr. Owl, my new friend, but this is also Barbara, my new friend. And we're talking about some really cool interactive exhibits here at the Quincy Museum. And so can you kind of tell us what, obviously I'm having a lot of fun, but it is geared, some of it towards children, obviously some of it is for adults too. What is some of the stuff we have around here?
Well, we have a great selection of puppets here, and one of the things the kids have had a really good time doing is we have a selection of Native American books with legends and different tales, and a lot of them feature animals because, of course, Native American spirituality has a lot to do with animal spirits. And so they'll take these puppets and they'll actually play out some of the stories. In addition to, of course, playing and singing songs with them and just having a good time with Mr. Hoot Owl and his friends the fox and the coyote and everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving on to some of the stuff that maybe adults might enjoy a little bit more, what kind of artifacts can they also see?
Well, we have a kind of a timeline of Native American artifacts that you can see in this room, and this particular case talks about Mississippian cultures. And the Mississippians, of course, were the folks who built Cahokia mounds. So there's some beautiful, beautiful artifacts for the adults to enjoy while the kids are learning through hands-on activities and games.
Exactly, or adults named Megan Townley can also enjoy the puppets and get a little bit of a history lesson while still having fun, and that seems to be the biggest theme here for the Native American exhibit at the Quincy Museum, interactive history and making that fun. So we're going to learn more about the exhibit and find some more things that I can play with, and maybe I can get some more puppets involved too.